James Gunn has made the very important decision to wipe the DC Cinematic Universe's slate absolutely clean. They've been given full power to create a brand new universe, and DC have essentially gotten their very own version of Kevin Feige to revolutionize the entire experience and possibly make something special, and to be able to possibly even rival with the very prestigious Marvel Cinematic Universe. They've been able to get on the treadmill and find a system that works really well for them. Now, in my honest opinion, the Marvel Cinematic Universe and honestly the entire superhero genre is heavily oversaturated with content, and I think James Gunn is unfortunately going to repeat a few of the mistakes that Marvel is beginning to make on their subsequent journey. Let's get into the video, guys. Now lads, there are a number of takeaways and main points that I took away from this entire video and his statements. Now, there are a number of things that he mentioned, but I will be honest, there are a number of things that he said that genuinely worry me about the possible futures about what's to come. Of course, I am part of that camp, which was very much disappointed to find out that characters such as Black Adam, played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and Henry Cavill's Superman seems to be completely scrapped, as Henry Cavill is already onto Warhammer 40,000 and is off to better endeavors where they obviously treat him much better than he's been treated by the DC Cinematic Universe. That's very unfortunate, and I honestly would have preferred to see the future with him. And after watching the Angry Joe video, it made me really think and understand that there was a huge amount of potential really waiting for Henry Cavill, because since everything on Earth was essentially completed, it was about time that we take Superman to space. And in space is where Superman can go head to head with enemies that will actually be able to push him to his limits. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and we are left with the situation we are in now. Now guys, let's talk about the matter at hand. The first main takeaway that I want to talk about right now is James Gunn wanting to completely fuse every single part of the DC universe. This includes the gaming, the TV series, the animation, and of course the big shot theatrical movies. Now, for me personally, I genuinely think this is quite unnecessary. This doesn't make the movies or all of the content any better or worse. And if okay, this is what I'll use to explain it to you guys. Now, Marvel has actually gone completely in this direction with Disney Plus, and there are a number of Marvel characters that now have their own individual TV series that are all linked together to the main storyline. There are pros and cons to this, because there are a number of details and things that happen to these characters within these long TV series, but when they return to the movies, they're of course assuming that we've watched those TV series and have caught up essentially with those characters' lives. The character that completely comes to mind is Scarlet Witch. I did not watch her TV series alongside Vision and WandaVision. Yeah, that's what that's what it was called. I had absolutely no interest in those characters from the get-go, and I had no interest in watching the TV series just to find out what happened to their character before watching the brand new Doctor Strange movie. I thoroughly enjoyed that Doctor Strange movie, and since Infinity War, since Avengers Endgame, that was genuinely one of my favorite movies alongside the Spider-Man. With the return of the trio. Honestly, that was more fan service than anything, but it definitely was a well-crafted movie, so shout out to all of the people that were involved in that. And for me personally, it unfortunately promotes fatigue, and this is the direction that James Gunn seems to be going, is that he wants to link absolutely every single part to one singular universe. If one actor is playing in this TV series, he's going to be the same actor or actress in the big shot movies. For me personally, that promotes fatigue, as we're seeing everything happen at once. We're seeing these characters being reused in different scenarios. Now, it's cool for crossovers and things like that, but constantly seeing the same universe being used again and again, at least with the separation of the TV series and the movies, there was always something fresh and entertaining. If I'm watching the TV series, they have complete power in terms of creativity. This is something else that I wanted to raise. Because it's all going to be connected, every single decision and major decision that they choose to make is going to need a complete go-ahead from the CEO's, James Gunn. So they're going to have to go through him. So they can't bring in a big bad or make huge ripples in the entire world, because everything is connected. If as a particular character is going through a particularly difficult situation, we can simply say, yo, the universes are connected. Why didn't they call in the Justice League? Why did they call in him? Why didn't they call in the Flash? So this brings a number of subsequent issues, and that was the main issue that I saw with linking absolutely everything. The creativity is going to be blocked. Everything is going to be oversaturated because there's a huge amount of content already out there in terms of superhero content, and we don't need everything to be linked. Differences and disparities and unique things keep things interesting, and it just, honestly, in my opinion, just makes everything better. And that's why I particularly really enjoyed Matt Reeves' Batman. But now that I'm mentioning that, let's talk about that and talk about DC's new Elseworld, the part of the DC cinematic universe that will be not part of it. It will be essentially included as a side project. Now, if you think about it and look back to that video, James Gunn very quickly brushed past this and mentioned that any project that isn't directly related to the DC cinematic universe is going to be part of DC Elseworld. Now, you could say that I'm reaching, but from what I was able to gather from that statement is that these movies and all of this content that will be part of DC Elseworld will not be DC's priority. Their main job, and the main job of the CEO of DC Studios, is to revitalize a cinematic universe that is a heavy hitter, well developed, has a decent continuity, and has the ability to possibly compete with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So what immediately comes to mind is, yo, you're essentially telling me that Todd Phillips' Joker is in jeopardy, Matt Reeves' Batman is in jeopardy, and anything else that is not blessed enough to be part of the main DC cinematic universe is in jeopardy. This for me is personally worrying, because we've already seen instances where DC have completely cancelled movies because of not having enough money, not having enough budgets, or them choosing to push funds into other projects. So there have been projects that have been completely scrapped because them prioritizing simply other things. So in considering this, I'm thinking, yo, are you telling me that projects such as the Matt Reeves Batman could completely be ditched? So honestly, that is quite disappointing. And as I said before, guys, I am part of the camp that really enjoyed a lot of what Snyder was able to implement and create. And I think it's a real shame that they're unfortunately going to need to rehash other stories in which to revitalize the series. And let's get on over to that topic. The revitalization, the recasting of Batman and Superman, with the new movie coming out in the middle of 2025, Superman Legacy, where we've already heard that it will be a younger Superman starting out his journey again. Well, I guess we're going to see that again. You don't really need to hear me complain about that, because we've already seen that done enough. But we've seen that definitely a few times, but more so, in my opinion, bro, I have had absolutely enough of the Batman reboots. Oh my gosh, bro, it absolutely annoys me that we're getting another Batman reboot. Bro, we just saw Matt Reeves' Batman just pull up, and I started to really enjoy him. And looking back, especially after seeing the Snyderverse, I really enjoyed Ben Affleck's Batman. So to know that we're going to be getting another Batman is actually quite annoying. But more so, what annoys me personally, I don't know how the state of you guys, and whether you guys have actually been able to delve deep into the DC animated universe, because I personally have. I watched a large amount of the DC animated movies throughout, and they have definitely dominated, and that entire universe has absolutely slapped. Justice League War and all of the Justice League movies, and they were all really interconnected really well. And they were able to come up with some really decent projects that were really good. So the reason I have issue with this is that the story that is being covered in the new DCU is a story that has been well covered in the DC animated universe. We've been told that the new Batman will be covering Damian Wayne. And of course, if you haven't been watching any of the animated movies, this is going to be cool to see this character essentially come to life. But for me personally, I've already seen about 5 movies, including Damian Wayne and Batman. So it's, for me personally, it's a lot of fatigue, and I've already seen it done so many times, because we've already seen the first movie where Batman is with Damian and he first adopts him after Talia dies essentially and the League of Assassins crumbles apart. We've seen another movie where they're fighting these owl dudes or whatever, these other assassins, and Damian is trying to change and whatnot. And then you have Batman Bad Blood, where it's essentially the final and cumulative Batman and Bat Family movie where they all come together and fight as one. Then we also have Damian Wayne, where he actually goes off on his own and starts being part of the Teen Titans movies. And that, for me personally, is when I finally started to really enjoy Damian Wayne, as he's become much more kind. He's still measured and still calculating and still ruthless, like from his past that he gained from his League of Assassins history, but he's a much more interesting and much more balanced character. I'm personally not interested in seeing that entire story being redone, to see Damian Wayne killing and being the assassin and Batman trying to calm him down. I am personally not interested into seeing that storyline being rehashed in the live action version. Now, for you guys might be able to enjoy it, but for me personally, I've genuinely had enough. And excluding Damian Wayne, bro, we've had enough Batman reboots. Enough is enough, bro. Enough is enough. Now, guys, those are really my main takeaways from that entire thing. Yeah, I'm worried, definitely worried about these things that we've talked about. Now, if we consider the other main takeaway that I took from it, and this will be probably the last point that I talk about, it'll be the Green Lanterns, that they're going to be making a TV series on the Lanterns, and I'm actually very excited for that. For me personally, I don't know about you guys, but I'm personally offended that James Gunn hasn't chosen to make this into a movie. Now, obviously, it depends on how long the TV series is, how much of a budget is put into it, and how much justice they give these characters. Because personally, I have always loved the characters of the Green Lanterns. I've always thought it was really cool, and I have a real love for these characters. Now, of course, we've already seen Hal Jordan on the big screens. Unfortunately, that didn't really hit the mark. But with this series, we're also going to be seeing the return of John Stewart as well, the Black Green Lantern, who definitely has not gotten his due credits and amount of attention that he truly deserves. It'll be cool to finally see him being adapted into the live action scene and to see how he operates in this TV series. I definitely haven't seen much of him at all. The last time I've actually really seen him was in the Justice League animated cartoons. That was really the last time we were really able to see that character operate. So for me personally, I'm hoping it does slap. I'm interested to see, because James Gunn definitely seems to be going for a darker tone for pretty much all of these projects. Just considering the Supergirl storyline that he's going to be choosing, he's going for a much darker tone. So I'm definitely interested to see how that is going to go. Excited for what is to come, but as I said, I do have a number of reservations that I've mentioned throughout this video. Guys, tell me your thoughts down in the comments. Do you think James Gunn is going to be able to revitalize this entire thing? How do you feel about the entire superhero genre as a whole? Do you agree or disagree with me that essentially the entire market is being oversaturated with superhero movies, and everybody just needs to take a step back and slow down a wee bit for the betterment of the entire community? So tell me your thoughts down there in the comments. Enjoy your day, guys. Take it easy.